Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar-Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com. or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. And make sure you give them a call, because if you do, you will automatically be entered into a raffle to win free tickets in the lower bowl section of Raymond James Stadium for the Bucs-Falcons Thursday night game, which is also the creamsicle game for the Bucs. Who knows who's going to be starting at quarterback for either team at that point. But it is an opportunity to get free Bucs tickets to a Thursday night creamsicle game. So make sure you give Briar-Greaves Insurance a call. It is a Monday edition of the Pewter Report podcast. And unfortunately, for the fourth week in a row, because there was a bye followed by 3 straight losses, it's a Monday show, but not a victory Monday. And this one hurts even more because their starting quarterback is hurt, Baker Mayfield. So we'll talk about, can the Bucs win without Baker Mayfield if he does miss this upcoming game against the Arizona Cardinals, or maybe even a couple of more games as well. We'll talk about a couple of other topics, get into questions, comments, and super chats, and everything else Bucs related. So I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is Scott Reynolds, SR, from PewterReport.com. Scott, a lot of stuff to talk about with the Bucs on the injury front, but how are we feeling after yet another loss by Tampa Bay?
Not good. I mean, I came out with my 2-point conversion column. I'm not expecting Baker Mayfield to play. I know that the team is kind of not ruling him out for Sunday's game, but I don't think that will be a wise thing. The Cardinals game is not the make or break game of the season. It's one of them, but there's other games coming up that are just as important as beating the Cardinals. And so even if there's not a lot of damage to that shoulder for Baker Mayfield, I still believe that you probably need to give him a week's worth of rest. Even if he can throw the ball in practice, that's not going to matter. If he's sacked or hit and he lands on that shoulder again, he's going to be out. So in my opinion, you need to give all of the starting reps this week to Teddy Bridgewater. Get him more prepared to play against the Arizona Cardinals, a Cardinals team that is not very good. They're a mash unit themselves. So this is the battle of the backup quarterbacks here. It's Jacoby Brissett, who's 1-5 as a starter in Arizona, and Teddy Bridgewater, I'm assuming, is going to get the start over Baker Mayfield. I think that, again, is the wise move. But to me, Matt, you need to give him as much prep time as you can to get on board with these receivers. And that's kind of why he was brought in and replaced someone like Kyle Trask, who didn't have a lot of experience, to help get you through a couple games without Baker Mayfield. And he's having the MRI. We might know something during the show here, but let's hope it's not season ending. Let's hope they don't find anything really outside of just a sprain on that MRI. Nothing structurally wrong. That's not the preliminary indications. So that at least is good. But you hope that if this Todd Bowles defense can get its head out of its ass and play better football, not give up big plays, cover receivers, rush the passer, some basic fundamentals of at least decent defense, that combined with running the ball effectively, and this team is expecting Bucky Irving to play, I would start Sean Tucker. I would make sure Sean Tucker has the most carries of any running back in the game. I would have Bucky on a pitch count. Again, he's playing with an injured shoulder himself. The last thing you want to do is have Bucky Irving come back, get you all excited, and then have that letdown if he gets too many hits on that shoulder in this game, and then he misses some more time, right? It was just kind of like what we saw with Chris Godwin. He comes back from that broken ankle and then has a hairline fracture on the fibula on that same leg, and then missed over a month's worth of action. So when you get Bucky back, you want to keep him back. I would make this kind of a 3-headed monster with Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving getting the carries and Rachaad White servicing this team as the third down back.
Yeah, it's like all this news about Bucky Irving went to the wayside as soon as the Baker Mayfield injury
Yeah.
popped up. So it will be good to have Bucky Irving, and of course they can kind of lean on that rushing attack against the Arizona Cardinals. But we'll talk more about that game on Wednesday when we have our Bucs Cardinals preview. So when it comes to Baker, and for those that may not have heard or don't know, there was reports that came out right before Todd Bowles spoke today that it's an AC joint sprain on his left shoulder, and he hasn't been ruled out yet for the Bucs Cardinals game. And then Todd Bowles said that that's the preliminary thought right now about the AC joint sprain. He's going to get an MRI, and then Bowles was polite about it, but pretty much refused to answer anything about a timetable or a time frame of when he can return until after the MRI, which makes a ton of sense. It would be ridiculous. And I know
Yeah.
Bowles said a lot of injury-related stuff that has not panned out, so maybe it's best that he doesn't comment on it. But, he has talked a lot about, he'll be okay for this, he'll be okay for that, and then it's like, bam, he's out for
Yeah.
3 weeks or whatever the case may be. So some news about Baker Mayfield. But to be honest, even if he's not technically ruled out for the game, there was nothing even before he started grabbing his shoulder on the touchdown throw to Tez Johnson.
Right.
Nothing that Baker Mayfield was providing that was like, oh my God, no, he has to dress for this game against Arizona. I mean, just looking back at the game last night, and maybe the shoulder was impacting a lot of these throws, but I mean, Baker threw a dirt ball of a screen to
Yeah.
Emeka Egbuka in the game. A couple of throws were just complete missed overthrows or too short or too wide.
Yeah.
Maybe the Tez Johnson touchdown and then the Hail Mary was the straw that really broke the camel's back. But Baker didn't look right even before that. So I even think right now in his current state, Baker Mayfield's not helping the team if he's going to be out there against Arizona in that game. And I'm not putting too much stock into how Teddy Bridgewater looked in the second half against the Rams. For starters, the Rams are a really damn good football team that have a great defense. But also, you got to factor in a full preparation of practice and game planning for the Cardinals, more chemistry with Emeka Egbuka, Tez Johnson, and the other receivers like you mentioned before. And Todd Bowles said something today that stood out to me too, where he said, well, he's been here long enough where he knows the playbook and everything like that, but we have to tweak certain things to match his strengths. And I think that's important. So I wouldn't freak out too much about how Teddy Bridgewater looked in that last game or last night against the Rams. This is a guy that has played in 83 NFL games. He started 65.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing as a quarterback. And with a full week of preparation, I expect a much better performance by this Bucs offense. I mean, it can't get much worse than just 7 points scored. So, yeah, it sucks not having Baker Mayfield, but I'm not freaking out about Teddy Bridgewater just yet. I know some people are like, man, I kind of wish I had Kyle Trask, but I don't know what Kyle Trask would have done last night behind that offensive line as well. So look for a much different game plan for Sunday against Arizona, and we'll see what Teddy Bridgewater can bring to the group.
Yeah, our friend and colleague Greg Alman, the Almanac, as we call him, pointed out that Teddy Bridgewater in one game already outperformed what Kyle Trask did in all of his spots where he has taken the field for the Buccaneers from 2021 through 2024. Bridgewater was 8 of 15 for 62 yards.
Yeah.
And Kyle Trask in all of his Buccaneer appearances in the regular season was 4 of 11 for 28 yards. So the Traskaholics have to kind of deal with that. I don't have a huge ton of confidence in Teddy Bridgewater. Can he get the job done? Yes, he can. As much as I was certain about the fact that the Bucs were going to get their asses kicked on Sunday Night Football by the Rams, and I put my money where my mouth was for sure. I think you did too, Matt. I am uncertain about what I'm going to get from Teddy Bridgewater watching this game on Sunday. I just don't know. Would it surprise me if he came out and threw 2 touchdown passes and 210 yards and led the Buccaneers to a win? No, that would not surprise me. Would it surprise me if he came out and threw 2 interceptions and was the reason why this Buccaneer team lost? Wouldn't surprise me either. I literally have no idea what to expect. There was that one little, what do you have, 2 drives against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh during the preseason. We just didn't see a whole bunch there. And we're basically going off of his reputation, his experience in the league, etc. I don't know. I mean, he was coaching football, high school football, and is he driven, to win a championship? No, he's not. And I asked him that point blank, and I'll have a story on pewterreport.com about that. And I said, yeah, are you here because, you didn't get a ring? He's like, no, I don't really care about the ring. I want to be part of a team and help in any way I can, which is okay, but is not exactly championship DNA, right? It's maybe you don't have to have that from your backup quarterback, but I don't know. There's a certain nonchalance about Teddy Bridgewater that I have not put my finger on yet, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. He's kind of has that been there, done that attitude, and maybe that serves this team well on Sunday. But maybe it's too laissez-faire and he's not dialed in and, oh, well, I'm a hired gun. I'm a backup quarterback. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I would hope it would be the former rather than the latter, but we're not going to know till 4:00 come Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to watch practice and the intricacies of what is going on with this offense.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of a hey, happy to be here type of thing.
Right.
But also with that preseason game, and I don't know how much stock we can put in, he did throw. Everyone wants to get on his case about the hospital ball to Jalen McMillan.
Yeah.
I understand fans' frustrations about that.
Sure.
He also did have 2 touchdown passes, one
darts.
to Bucky Irving and another to Emeka Buka. So when I see those type of throws, and again, it's a preseason game against the Steelers where you're not going up against Jalen Ramsey and TJ Watt and stuff like that. But it was certainly showed that he can still make some of the money throws, which is why he was such a highly coveted quarterback back in the day when he was, coming out of the draft from Louisville. So, I understand the whole motivation aspect, but I don't think he's going in there being like, all right, let's just keep it close. He's not going in there to lose.
Right.
I think he wants
exactly.
to go.
Yeah.
He wants to go and win the game. And, I don't know, maybe being at home for the first time in 2 weeks, maybe the return of Bucky Irving will get the crowd a little bit more involved. But it's going to take the entire team. It's going to take every single person on that field. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is going to have a 300-yard passing game and 3 touchdowns, and that's why the Bucs are going to win. They're going to have to win in all 3 phases. That includes special teams. That includes this porous defense that has not held up their end of the bargain in recent weeks. Can they turn it around against a lesser team and a backup quarterback? I hope so. But we've also seen times where backup quarterbacks have shredded Tampa Bay. So it's a truly an up in the air type of scenario for the Bucs going into Sunday.
It is. And this team, man, they keep it interesting. It's not always like the type of good interesting that you want, right? It was interesting in the beginning, right? They were were they 6-1 to start the season?
Yeah.
5-1. Yeah. And that was interesting. It was an interesting start, but then it's become interesting in a different way that's painful for the for those fans out there that want to see this team take the next step and not just be a good team, or an above average team or mediocre team, whatever you think this team is, wherever you think this team is. You wanted it this year to take that next step to become a great team. And it looked like early in the season, they might have that in them. The injuries and some inconsistencies really caught up. And I think where Teddy Bridgewater, it really needs the running game more so than anything, is the fact that he is not the kind of guy. And we saw him scramble a little bit last night, but he cannot escape sacks, right? We saw him get sacked twice, and it looked a little painful. He almost threw an interception trying to escape a sack where he just kind of, just chucked the ball up in the air.
Yeah.
But he's not, underhanded, exactly. He's not the kind of guy that is going to run for 7 yards on 3rd and 6 and pick up the first down like Baker Mayfield, right? And that has been kind of that missing ingredient, that secret sauce that Baker Mayfield has provided. And he did that. We saw in that Bills game where they put up 32 points. And part of that was Baker Mayfield running for a touchdown, extending drives, et cetera. That's something that they're going to be missing with Teddy Bridgewater that has been integral to their success for most of this season. Think back to the Falcons game in week 1, the Texans game in week 2, the Jets game, right? The 49ers game, right? That 3rd and 14, he picked up 15 yards. Those are the type of plays that Teddy Bridgewater is not capable of making. And so those yards are going to have to come on the legs of Sean Tucker, on the legs of Rashad White, the legs of Bucky Irving. They're going to have to come via the pass, a more accurate pass than we have seen from Baker Mayfield throw. Baker's been off target for the last couple of games after the bye week, and it's going to have to be a total team effort to beat a really bad 3-8 Arizona Cardinals team.
One thing I'd like to see as well, and this is more Josh Grizzard, and maybe they will tailor it this way because it looks like Teddy Bridgewater is going to be in the game. But
yeah,
Grizzard has been so heavy on the screens and, to varying different degrees of success. What happened to just running a slant or, a short little 3 to 4 yard route that's maybe not a screen at the line of scrimmage, but if it's thrown and caught, you're guaranteed at least 3 or 4 positive yards versus asking a player to make a defender miss or asking a blocker to get out in space and get to the defender before they can go and make the tackle on the player on the screen pass. Whatever happened to a slant? I don't think we've seen like one slant this year in this offense, and maybe they have to do that a little bit more with Teddy Bridgewater. But I'm curious to see the accuracy of his throws because you're right. Baker has missed some of the short to intermediate throws and things of that nature. And, if you're any opponent, not just the Cardinals, but I'm blitzing the Bucs a lot and daring Teddy Bridgewater to get rid of the football because you could play tight coverage and you're daring those Bucs receivers to try to create space and get open. And that's been an issue at times, whether it's Emeka Egbuka, Tez Johnson, Sterling Shepard. Those battles aren't really going the Bucs' way, and they certainly won't if there's less time to get open as well.
Yeah, and as John V says here, what happened to scheming players open? Yeah, I mean, we see Sean McVay do that all the time, and I thought we saw more. Maybe they weren't slants, but maybe they were more like crossers, drag routes across the field last year from Liam Cohen. That underneath type stuff that allowed Baker Mayfield to hit on 71% of his passes last year.
That's what it was.
And we just haven't seen that. There's been more of an emphasis to push the ball a little bit more intermediate and vertical down the field. And I think as a result, we're not seeing the chains move. Remember, the Bucs were the number one team on third downs last year because they were in so many third and short situations because when you take the deep shot and you miss it at 2nd and 10, when you hit those crossers, those drag routes, as you're talking about, even those quick slants, that we saw Liam Cohen incorporate last year, you're setting up 2nd and 2. And then, Matt, you can take the deep shot on 2nd and 2. If you don't get it, then you're still at 3rd and 2. Then you run, you pick up the first down, you move the chains. So I think part of this has been when the deeper plays hit, it benefits the Bucs. And when they don't, it hurts the Buccaneers. In other words, there's not a neutral there, right? And so I would like to see, especially for Teddy Bridgewater, and I think because he doesn't have the arm that Baker Mayfield does to push the ball down the field, I think we're going to see more of those shorter intermediate routes to get the ball out of his hands quickly. He doesn't have the escapability factor, and I'm all for it, Matt. I am all for it, just like on Mondays, even though it's not a victory Monday. I am all for knowing where our Pewter people are watching and listening to this program from. And it's a little thing we do on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out on our Pewter Report podcast on Monday. It's called
Roll Call. Yep, that's right. We have the best fans in the world. Our Pewter people, Bucs fans, each and every one of you are so passionate, and we're so grateful that you take time out of your day, each day, or every time that we have the show, and you join us for these Pewter Report podcasts. And we have so many fans across all around the world. It's super cool to see where you're watching from. So one way we love interacting with our fans is doing roll call on Monday shows, where one of us will go on a conversation about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And in the meantime, if you want to put in the chat where you're watching the show from, we'll put it up on the screen and give a couple of personal shout outs as well, like Robert Gordon watching from Princeton, Texas. So Scott, whenever you're ready, please go ahead and let the Pewter people know what you want to talk about on today's show.
All right, Baker Mayfield is out for this game. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think Todd Bowles would be idiotic to play Baker Mayfield after having him in a sling on last night's game during the second half. I think you're asking for trouble long term if you put Baker in this game. So let's just say that the Teddy Bridgewater is in for this week, and then after that we'll see. But here's the thing: this is where it's all setting up. The Buccaneers' schedule, we've talked about this. This is supposed to be where it gets a little easier for the Buccaneers, right? We even said a couple weeks ago, don't be surprised if this team goes on the road after they lost to the Patriots game. Matt, you and I, we talked about this when I was at the stadium following that loss to the Patriots. Don't be surprised if this team loses 2 more games on the road to Buffalo and the Rams out in LA and gets to 6-5. But then the sky's clear, the sun comes out, and they have an opportunity now to win some of these winnable games down the stretch against a 3-win Cardinals team, a 2-win Saints team, a 4-win Falcons team, all at home in back-to-back-to-back weeks. Here's the problem. The problem is you have a backup quarterback going up against 3 other backup quarterbacks. That has not typically been the recipe for success for Todd Bowles. He's made some backups pay. He has made some backups look like starters, like Pro Bowlers. Folks, the season comes down to this. The Bucs have 3 home games in 11 days. If they don't come out of this stretch at least 2-1 heading into that game at Carolina, you can write this season off. They're not going to the playoffs. They're not winning the division. Carolina's going to win it. And then it is going to be an ugly time for Jason Light and Todd Bowles at One Buccaneer Place. I understand that injuries are going to be the excuse this year. And I understand that the Lasers have given both Light and Todd Bowles contract extensions through 2028. Having said that, this is the winnable stretch right here. And it's not just Teddy Bridgewater that has to win this game coming up on Sunday. It's the defense. It's special teams, Matt, as you said. It's the running game. Josh Grizzard has got to help out his quarterback. Todd Bowles has to help out his quarterback. And this team has to rise up as a team, and the coaches have to coach. They've got to scheme up ways for this team to win. Baker Mayfield has been, as I've said before, the engine of this offense, the heartbeat of this team. But this is the time for the coaches to rise up, prove their worth, game plan for the Arizona Cardinals, a winnable game, and win it on Sunday, and then do the next damn week the same thing against the Saints. And then we'll see what happens against Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons, and we'll see which players come back. As Todd Bowles said today, Matt, there's more good news on the horizon. There's a chance that Kalijah Cansey comes back. He's actually sprinting right now. There's a chance he comes back before the end of the season. Is that going to be in late December? Is that going to be in January? We'll have to find out. Mike Evans, his return is on the horizon. He's getting better. Same thing with Jalen McMillan, who is not in a neck brace any longer, apparently. So the help is on the way. But this team, not just Teddy Bridgewater, this team has got to take care of business and go from being 6-5 to 7-5 to 8-5 and hopefully 9-5. And then if Baker Mayfield can come back against the Saints, against the Falcons, against the Panthers, whenever he returns, let's hope he does, then maybe this team can actually have some bodies to do something. Because Jamel Dean can be on the way back soon. Ben Bredesen, Hassan Reddick. The cavalry's coming. But as I mentioned in my 2-point conversion, at no point in time were we thinking that Teddy Bridgewater was ever supposed to be part of this cavalry.
Yeah.
In the meantime, they're going to have to win in spite of not having Baker Mayfield out there, something that this team, fortunately, has not even had to come to grips with. Baker has started every single game since he's been the starter, dating back to the 2023 season. But no excuses, Todd Bowles. No excuses, Josh Grizzard. Just because you don't have Baker Mayfield doesn't mean that Sunday's game and the next Sunday, probably that Thursday night game against the Falcons, those are all winnable games, and they need to be won by this team.
It's almost absurd that the only players on the Bucs offense that hasn't missed time has been Graham Barden and Cade Otton. We're talking about every significant player has, missed certain time for one reason or another.
Yeah.
That excludes like Rashad White, who gets subbed in and out, and Sean Tucker and stuff like that. And there is a bright side of the fact that they do have some of their better players coming back. But if they don't take care of business against the Cardinals and against the Saints and things like that, or the Thursday night game against the Falcons, well, then the comeback isn't as special because you're fighting for maybe to catch up from behind from the Panthers versus trying to control your own destiny. And they do benefit from the fact that Carolina does have some tough matchups, including tonight against the San Francisco 49ers. But besides the fact that you have some good players coming back, I think this is going to be a real challenge and a real test for the Bucs coaching staff because, we saw it last year when they had injuries to the defensive side, and there's a lot more injuries to the offense this year, where it was the defense last year. There weren't answers on the defensive side. They were allowing tons and tons of points. And the Bucs aren't the first team to have a coaching staff that's dealt with injuries before. Other teams are able to overcome it. And if, Bulls' defense and Grizzard's offense aren't able to find ways to piece together a win, well, a lot of coaches in this league can be successful when you have Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, a fully healthy starting offensive line, your starting quarterback. But I think it's going to show who's truly a great coach and who's truly just the beneficiary of having a really good team. And I think that's where the question of is Todd Bowles a Super Bowl winning coach for this team?
I agree.
I think that's where we'll find out over these next 2 or 3 games. The defense needs to do something if they want to win these extremely winnable games. The offense has been the catalyst for this team more often than not this season. And I don't care if Connor Bay is like starting a quarterback for the Bucs on Sunday. There's no excuse not to get the job done against Arizona, especially against New Orleans, and likely against Atlanta as well. This has to come on the defense at one point or another.
It does. And we have said, and the 6-5 record and the teams that they have beaten have shown that this is / can be, because we're starting to question that now, a good team. This is not a great Buccaneer team. This is not an elite Buccaneer team by any means. That was an elite Rams team we saw last night, the best team in the NFC. But you've got 3 games against lesser teams that have really struggled, that have averaged, these next 3 teams have averaged 3 wins this season. The Bucs have won twice as many games as the teams that they're going to play. And if you play down to the level of competition, then you can no longer be considered a good team. You'll have gone from a good team that had a chance to be great, but you didn't get there. You weren't that team, and then now you're a bad team, right? So if you lose to bad teams, you are a bad team. And one excuse / reason, however you want to look at it, that we've said all year is the Buccaneers have not had that stub your toe game yet. And I don't want to hear about, they didn't have Baker Mayfield, so they lost the Cardinals. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I've seen Jacob Parrish make plays. I have seen Yaya Diaby make plays. I have seen Levante David make plays. I've seen Vita Vea make plays. I have seen Tyke Smith and Antoine Winfield Jr. make plays. Every week? No. Enough? No. But there are enough pieces here that Todd Bowles can put those pieces in play to make some plays, and then those players have to step up. Oh, and by the way, I'd love to see a play out of Zion McCollum, one that's not benefiting the other team, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, for everyone that's saying bench Zion McCollum, I hear you. He probably should be benched, but until Jamel Dean is healthy enough, and until Benjamin Morrison, who everybody doesn't want to see on the field anyway, until those guys are ready to go, and maybe they will be this week. We'll see at practice. But until they're ready to go, you don't really have any other options besides calling up Bryce Hall, elevating him from the practice squad, and maybe putting him in there. But Zion McCollum's going to have to dig his way out of this hole. I mean, they signed him to a contract extension. He's not going anywhere. Right. He's a big part of this team, whether we like it or not. And, maybe he needs a get-right game against a team that does not have the same type of arsenal that the LA Rams do. But yeah, I mean, Zion doesn't look like the same player that he was a season ago or even 2 seasons ago. Yep. And it's alarming for this team. It's one of the many flaws that they've gone through over the last 3 games.
He's already given up 5 touchdowns this year. That's already a career high, and he's still got plenty of games to go. The USF Bulls, though, they only have 1 more game to go this year at Raymond James Stadium. There is one team that is undefeated at Raymond James Stadium this year. It is not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is the USF Bulls. Alex Golish and the Bulls will be looking to have a game that will hopefully improve their bowl positioning with a win, and I think they're going to get it against Rice Saturday, November 29th. It is Senior Day. Make sure you scan that QR code to purchase your tickets or go to usfbullstix.com again Saturday, November 29th after Thanksgiving. What a great game that's going to be at Raymond James Stadium. USF Bulls versus the Rice Owls. Senior Day. Be there, Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah, support local, support our good teams.
Yeah.
We got some super chats to get to, but also want to give a shout out to some of those that, well, thank you to everyone that participated in roll call, but we'll give a couple of specific shout outs as well, starting with David Weber watching from Shepherdsville, Kentucky, Dragon Ball Z, right here in Tampa Bay, our own backyard. Gino Mac 99, Moorhead, Minnesota. Go Bucs. Try 21 Media watching from Weeki Wachi, Florida. Social Mako, Lakewood, California. And then we're going to go a little international for these next two. Tiago Pichetto, Argentina. 2 weeks till my flight to Tampa for Thursday Night Football. That's right. Cool. I remember you commenting about that. Hopefully the Bucs can bring you a win. And Crispin DaCosta watching from London in the UK. Was up at 4 a.m. watching that chunk last night.
Wow.
I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully your day has turned around a little bit after that debacle by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But thank you very much for your support and for watching the show.
Crispin, I hope you had a lot of Fuller's London pride last night. I'm going to be having one of those after the show. It's an ale I discovered over there in London when I was visiting with my good friend Mark Cook back in the day. Mark and I had some Fuller's London pride as we were getting ready to watch the Carolina Panthers kick the crap out of the Buccaneers, pick off Jameis Winston 5 times. But good times.
Including the first pass of the game.
Yeah, first pass of the game. That's right. So thank you all so much for chiming in for today's show from all over the state of Florida, the country, and around the world, too. We love you, Pewter people. And remember, just because the Buccaneers lose doesn't mean that you lose or Pewter Report loses, because we didn't play the game. We just watched it and reported on it and talked about it. So we're all winners.
Yeah, that's true. And if they do lose, you can come to the podcast and vent and voice your frustrations, and we get a lot of it, for sure.
Speaking of the podcast, no podcast tomorrow, unless we have an emergency podcast. I'm putting Matt on notice right now. If we have something big-time injury news, we'll do a Pewter Reports emergency podcast sometime tomorrow. But otherwise, we'll have our usual Bucs preview podcast. That's Bucs versus Cardinals preview podcast on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. And then Thursday and Friday, no podcast. We're taking some time off to be with our families. Now, we'll still do some Bucs reporting. I'll still have a Buccaneer Brightside video coming out tomorrow, but then it's going to be a short one too, believe me. But we're going to have some Pewter Pulse videos that I'll do to get you guys through the weekend, but no regular podcast on Thursday, and then no Pewter Insider this Friday. The Pewter Insider will resume the next Friday. But make sure you enjoy some turkey, some football, some friends, and some family, most importantly, during Thanksgiving. But make sure you check out our podcast on Wednesday. And then on Sunday, get up early with us. We've got the Pewter pregame podcast. Thanks to everybody who tuned in live or watched it prior to the Sunday night game. Greatly appreciate that. That was a well-viewed podcast. And then, of course, and that's always at 9 o'clock on game days. And then we've got Pewter Game Day. Matt Matera and Daniel Morales at 1 o'clock on the call as the Buccaneers try to get off the schneid and get a win against the Arizona Cardinals. We got some super chats to get to, Matt. Let's not delay any further, shall we?
Thank you to Kings Are Awful for the $1.99 super chat. Says, if we lose the division, will Todd Bowles be gone?
Interesting. I have been flooded with texts and emails, not to mention super chats and comments from Bucs fans asking me what I think about this. There's two schools of thought. I'll tell you real quick. Number one, back in the day, the Blazers, their patience ran out with Tony Dungy, right? And they They were hitting a wall. They wanted a new coach. They got that new coach in Gruden. Gruden delivered 3 division championships and, of course, a Super Bowl in 7 years span.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to his last year, they give John Gruden and Bruce Allen, the general manager, big-time contract extensions. In 2008, Gruden started off that year 9-3, lost the last 4 games. Monty Kiffin went with his son Lane to Tennessee, and the Glazers parted ways with John Gruden and Bruce Allen despite those contract extensions. So is there precedence for getting rid of coaches, even successful ones? Yeah, the Glazers have done it twice, even during a contract extension year, as Todd Bowles got this past offseason. However, there was what I call the decade of darkness. Actually, it's more than 10 years, where John Gruden turned into Raheem Morris, turned into Greg Schiano, turned into Lovie Smith, turned into Dirk Cutter, and finally to Bruce Arians. It's a long time where there was not any Buccaneer playoff games. 2 winning seasons, the 10-win season with the Youngry Raheem Morris team back in 2010, and then Dirk Cutter in his first year, they went 9-7. The Glazers don't want to return to that either. So I don't know. I don't know how to read the tea leaves. My last name is Reynolds, not Glazer. I don't know what they're thinking. They have thought different things at different times, but I'm not sure what the appetite is to see what's behind door number 2 when you open the door and there's no light on in the room. It's dark and you don't know what you're going to get. I do know that having a chance to go to the playoffs every year is better than not having that. But at some point in time, you get tired of mediocrity. You get tired of is good enough, or do you want to aspire to be great again? I don't know where the Glazer team is right now, and I don't know how this season's going to finish. That if they lose every game down the stretch, it increases the chances Todd Bowles is gone. If they finish with 10 or 11 wins, win the division, and then they're one and done in the playoffs, he probably sticks around another year. I don't know how to read this. You have any thoughts on this?
Well, I think the extra element in this one is not having Baker, because if you look at the history of Todd Bowles, we're right on the same course that we've been on since he took over as head coach. And he is going to go out and beat the Cardinals and beat the Saints, and then they'll probably lose to the Falcons on Thursday Night Football, but the Panthers will stub their toe somewhere else and still give the Bucs that cushion they need for the division. But not having Baker obviously is big in all of this, because you don't have all reliable of your top quarterback. You're trying to win with the backup quarterback, which is difficult, even though you're going up against a backup quarterback. So my overall thought is, and I'm sure they learned from the mistake of signing a coach to an extension and firing him right away. Yeah. I see it as this year, unless they lose out, it'll probably be chalked up to injuries.
I agree.
But next season might be the time where, if they don't get the job done in the postseason and make a longer postseason run than they've had, okay, you're looking at the end of the 2026 season. That's only 2 years that they'd have to eat on the contract extension. I think that might be the time where Bowles could be out of there. Kings Are Awful with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you. Says, has Light realized he sucks at drafting edge rushers?
Yeah, probably. He's pretty self-aware. He doesn't need me telling him in 2 Pewter Pulse videos in an SR's Fab 5 that's the case, but I did. I'm going to share a screen with you guys that a graphic that I put up in my most recent Pewter Pulse video, and I titled this the front 6 because typically Tampa Bay is in nickel, which means they're not in their 3-4 base defense. They're really in a 4-man front, 2 edge rushers, 2 defensive tackles, 2 inside linebackers. These are the premium picks since, and I'll give Jason Light credit, since hitting on 2-time Pro Bowler Vita Vea in 2018 with the first-round pick. Now, these are the premium picks, rounds 1 through 4. I'm not including Elijah Roberts, a 5th-round pick, or Khalil Davis, a 6th-round pick, et cetera. I'm not going that deep. These are the premium picks. Devin White was an inside linebacker, 1st-round pick. Anthony Nelson, and that same draft, was a 4th-round pick. Joe Tryon-Shawinka, 1st round. Logan Hall, 2nd round. Kalijah Kancey has been good when he's on the field, and then obviously not helping the team when he's off the field due to injuries. He's had some significant injuries in all 3 seasons in Tampa Bay, 1st-round pick. Yaya Diaby, 3rd round, Chris Braswell, 2nd round, David Walker, 4th round. We have no idea what David Walker is going to be. Yeah, that. And then if you want to go back to 2016 and you want to throw a 2nd round pick, Noah Spence in there, it has not been good. It's been terrible. And I think if you look at a lot of these players, you see, especially the 1st and 2nd round guys, you see athletes, right? You see Devin White, Vita Vea, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, Logan Hall, Kalijah Kancey. Yeah, Diaby's an athlete too. Chris Braswell. These are guys that have pretty good athletic traits, 40-yard dash times and all that. How instinctive are they as football players, though? Vita Vea is clearly the best of the bunch here. Anthony Nelson's a high football IQ guy, good measurables, not a great athlete, right? I mean, I think even Todd Bowles has kind of cracked on his athleticism a little bit. But, what's the old adage? Look like Tarzan, play like Jane, right? And I think that was the case with Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. And I think that's been the case with Logan Hall. Good RAS score, but are you an instinctive football player, right? Can you make football plays? Matt, we saw this Rams defense last night make a bunch of football plays.
Tons of plays.
Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, Nate Landman,
Kobe
Byron
Durant.
Young. Yeah. Some of these guys are they're not the best athletes, but man, they're instinctive players and they make a lot of good football plays. And that sometimes trumps athleticism, right? You can be a good athlete all you want, but can you get to the quarterback? Can you play the chess match with the tackle and constantly threaten the quarterback, right? Braden Fisk, So I don't know. I think Jason Light needs to really look at who he's drafted, where they've gone wrong. And Todd Bowles has been, I think, just as guilty. He's just, what do you say about Zion McCollum today? He's one of our best athletes. Yeah. Okay, great. I don't know about Kobe Durant's, athleticism, but I saw a very instinctive football play where he just came in and said, "Give me the damn ball, Cade Otton. You're not going to wear gloves. Screw you, buddy. I'm taking the ball out of your hands because I got gloves."
I'll take instinctive players all day over speed. Absolutely. And Zion's a good example. Like, is Devontae Adams faster? A 30-plus-year-old Devontae Adams faster than Zion McCollum?
Absolutely
Hell
not.
no.
Absolutely
but Devontae Adams, what does the speed matter? Devontae Adams is a step or two ahead of him on one score, and then just saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to race you to the corner of the end zone, and I'm taller than you, and I have better football IQ than you. I'm going to score on the one-on-one in the corner of the end zone of a fade," which only works for Mike Evans and now Devontae Adams against Zion McCollum.
Yeah.
Athleticism is important, but if you're playing in the NFL, you might not be the fastest, but you're athletic enough to get the job done in many aspects. So instincts over athletics all day.
I agree. And sometimes you have to really have enough athleticism. Like KJ Britt did not have enough athleticism, right? He didn't last year to play linebacker. And that's why Servassier Dennis is better than KJ Britt this year. He's not the answer at middle linebacker, but he's a little bit better of an athlete. That's why he's better than KJ
Yeah, there
was.
are some players that can get away with it. There are some that can get away with it, but you can't have 11 defenders just be athletes.
Correct.
You can have like 2 or 3 that are athletes.
Yeah.
But you need the instincts, the IQ,
I agree.
And all that stuff. Sad Buck fan. Very funny picture. Thanks for the $1.99 super chat. Says, do you think the Glazers still believe in Todd Bowles?
I don't know. We're going to find out. I know they believed in him a lot last year because of that contract extension, and they essentially chose Bowles over Liam Cohen. So they did. I think they still do. But if this team goes under 500 down these next 3 games, and these 3 games are the season right here, folks. These 3 games against an average team that has won 3 games, right? You have the 4-win Falcons, the 2-win Saints, the 3-win Cardinals. All of them have backup quarterbacks in right now. If you can't go 3-0 or at least 2-1 down the stretch, I think it has to impact their level of belief in Todd Bowles. Because as you said, Matt, these are the games where coaching matters. When you don't have your starting quarterback, when you don't have a healthy roster, and you got a scheme is going to have to dictate, who wins this game or not. Coaching matters, and it's going to matter a lot on this Sunday's game.
We can look past losing to these top teams, the Patriots, Bills, Rams. We can't look past losing these games. Because, again, The Cardinals have a backup quarterback too. It's not like they're going up against their top guy. So it's backup
Jacoby
against
Brissett's
backup.
1-5 as a starter. So.
Yeah. It's crazy to say, but like this is as close to a must-win as we've seen for Tampa Bay this season. And of course, it's expounded upon because it's likely going to be Teddy Bridgewater and not Baker at quarterback for this game.
You know what? You're right, Matt. I'm going to go back and change the graphic and go back to the must-win game on there. You're exactly right. This is a must-win game. Yeah, this is.
Especially if the Panthers find a way to upset San Francisco tonight, then it's absolutely a must-win because then you're trying to keep pace with Carolina. And yes, you do play them twice for sure, but I don't know if you lose the next 3 and the Panthers go 2-1,
doesn't matter.
Then it's desperation mode.
Yeah.
So. And you're not getting in the wild card. The rest of the NFC is too good to get into the wild card. You're already behind the 8 ball.
Or you're done.
That's their only ticket into the postseason.
Yep.
Kings are awful. Thank you for the $4.99. Says, if I'm the Bucs, I give Bowles 2 choices this offseason. Hire a defensive coordinator and just be the head coach because teams figured him out. If he says no, pull an Arians. Bye-bye.
That could be coming. That could be coming. You know, that's a laser call / Jason Light. That could be on the table. And I will say this. I don't see Todd Bowles surrendering the play calling duties. That might be the ultimatum that forces him to retirement. You know, it just might.
Could.
You know, and you know what? If that's the choice he makes, then that's fine. Then you get another head coach and you start over, right, with the coaching staff. Or maybe you pull a John Gruden where you keep the offensive guys. If you like the Brian McClendons, you like the Kevin Currys, Josh Grizzard is salvageable and he can improve with a healthier cast of characters. Maybe that's the case, but it might come to that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how good the defense responds after getting shellacked these last couple of games.
And you think they would have responded by now based on some of the other performances they've had coming out of the bye.
But those were against great teams, Matt. And this is not a good, this is an average defense.
For sure.
So
level
again,
of difficulty is less.
Yes. And we'll see exactly how good or average or bad, whatever you want to call it, this defense is. Because I don't know what we're going to get against the Cardinals. I have no idea. I think the Bucs are going to win because they're at home. And they really need to win. I think they've got enough people in that building. They can figure enough out to beat a lowly 3-win Cardinals team. And if they can't, God help them.
Because to your point, as it did look terrible out of the bye, but this is also, it's the same cast of characters and players that, dominated the Saints, had a defensive touchdown and didn't allow a touchdown in that game. So, that's a good way of looking at it. JD Foster, thank you for the $13.99 super chat. Says, I have calmed down after yesterday. I was pissed off. Turned the TV off at halftime.
Good
Matt,
for you.
SR, do we have any positives to look forward to besides some injured guys returning late in the season? We are bad with a frowny face.
We're going to find out. I'm curious. I'm extremely curious. I don't know how Sunday's going to go. I could see it going very good for the Buccaneers, or it could be absolutely awful. I don't know what I'm going to expect. And I love a good mystery, Matt. Whether I'm watching a movie, a Netflix series, reading a book, I love a good mystery. I am mystified by what I'm going to see on Sunday. Now, if they had Baker Mayfield and he was healthy, even if they would have lost to the Rams 34-7, I still like the Bucs' chances. I think Baker could shrug off a bad day and flip the switch, and he can have a good game, but not with a wounded wing. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but I'm curious.
But I will say, if there's any positives, and there's not many, but if there's any positive besides like injuries, the running game has really figured itself out over the last 2 games, and that's with Sean Tucker, and obviously it's injury related, but Bucky is coming back, so I think that can only get better. And then defensively, again, nothing good came from that game. But I don't know. Something stood out to me. Matthew Stafford started 8 of 8. It would have been 9 of 9, but Tyke Smith had a great punch of the football that forced an incompletion. Tyke Smith's still playing at a high level, even though
he's a dog.
Everyone else
I love him. He's the best.
Yeah. Bart Harley Jarvis, thank you for this $13.99 super chat, says, season has already been completely derailed by injuries and bad coaching. If Baker is out for any length of time, it's over. Schedule now softer, but Bucs in their current form won't win many games.
This is a damning stretch. Again, you've got 3 teams that this team should beat, even without Baker Mayfield. They should run the ball enough Josh Grizzard should figure out a way to get the ball to Tez Johnson and Emeka Ibuka. And if you have Mike and Jalen waiting in the wings, then that should encourage this team to play really, really hard and not lose your playoff positioning right now, right? And then we'll see if this team gets Baker and J-Mac and Ben Bredesen and Bucky and Mike back. It's a different ball game. So I'm not ready to wave the white flag yet, just because they've lost 3 games to teams that are better than the Buccaneers. There's 3 games here where the Buccaneers on paper are the better team. We'll see. They got to show up and do it on Sunday at what could be a very chewed up field at Raymond James Stadium with the Bulls playing on Saturday. The field is awful at Ray J. It just is. It's awful. So get used to it. An awful field on Sunday. I love USF. Can't wait until they're in their own stadium. I know the Bulls fans can't wait for that either. They're sick and tired of having to decorate a red and pewter stadium in green and gold, but then you got to deal with the pirate ship and all that. So it's going to be a chewed up field out there on Sunday.
And I would say the season's over if Baker has to miss the next 3 games, because they are very winnable games. And that's where the mystery is with how do they look with Teddy Bridgewater, and how does the defense bounce back against a lesser offense compared to the previous 3 that they just went up against. Jacob, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Says there is no Vrabel or Ben Johnson in this cycle. The Glazers aren't going to fire Bowles just to hire Jesse Minter or someone like that.
That's part of it.
That's another aspect of it as well. That's a really good point.
Liam Cohen was wise to take the Jacksonville job when he did. I'm telling you that he would still be an offensive coordinator in Tampa if if that was the case, because he. With all the injuries this year, I don't care if you're Liam Cohen, Dave Canales, or Josh Grizzard. Grizzard has had it the worst out of all of them. Just such a revolving door at so many positions on offense: running back, wide receiver, offensive line, and now quarterback. I mean,
and that quarterback right there is something that Dave Canales and Liam Cohen never had to deal with at their time as offensive coordinator.
That's right.
With the Bucs. Hezo 813, thank you for the $10 super chat. Says Zion said Bowles called the defense out in the meeting, and they look even worse now. I believe 2 things are at play. Either Bowles no longer has answers, or players are starting to tune him out.
I don't know that the players are tuning him out. He might not have the answers, and I just think they need better players. I think they need better players. I think Jason Light and Todd Bowles have drafted starters, but not stars. And I think that's becoming pretty crystal clear. Like Cade Otton is a starting tight end on this team. He might start for a couple teams. He might be a better tight end if he wears some damn gloves and actually catches the ball. But in hindsight, looking at how these players have not developed, leveled off, receded, whatever, just because you're filling holes with a 4th round pick here, a 3rd round pick here, 5th round pick there. Okay, they're starters, but they're not stars. And there's a big difference. And this team doesn't have enough stars, and it's got a bunch of starters that some of those starters need to be replaced. And they're going to have to do a better job drafting. We've given them a lot of plaudits for drafting a lot of starters, but at the end of the day, they need more star power.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we talked about recently too, where like one good edge rusher could fix a lot of these issues with the team, because it's a trickle down effect. So I don't think it's necessarily tuning out Todd Bowles. Could the game plans be a little bit better? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think so. But I think we'll have a better answer after the Thursday night game in December.
Matt, you hit on something I want to pause on for a second, because you're exactly right. Like one good edge rusher makes a big difference, right? I mean, and we said this, I think, on our Pewter Insider show on Friday for our Pewter Platinum and Premier members. We talked about that Super Bowl defense with Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett, and JPP up front. This team won a Super Bowl with Sean Murphy-Bunting in the slot, who's like an okay cornerback. Carlton Davis, who's never sniffed a Pro Bowl. Jamel Dean, who's it takes playing.
Could have been in one this year.
Could have been in one this year, but injuries. That's been Jamel's story. Jordan Whitehead, who I think he's out of the league now, maybe. And Antoine Winfield Jr., who was a rookie in 2020, right? I mean, that was the Gravedigger secondary, and it looked good. but it was above average. It was some good players, good performances in that group, but it was the front six, man, that got the job done. You had Devin in his prime, playing before his ego went amok. You had a 30-year-old Levante David, a 26-year-old Vita Vea, and Ndamukong Suh still in his prime, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq on rushing. When you've got that front six humming like that, you can put Zion McCollum back there and he's going to look good. You can put Benjamin Morrison back there. He's going to look good. I'm just saying. You're right, Matt. That's exactly right. A good edge rusher. They need more pass rush because that's going to help your secondary. And great point. Great point.
Yeah, thank you. And it's not just taking down the quarterback, which you would love to see. Like, for example, Yaya got a sack against Matt Stafford. Didn't matter because they got a 3rd and 18. But even after that play, there was no – the ultimate goal is to take down the quarterback for a sack. But there's not even that threatening pressure of the pocket collapsing, and it alters the throw a little bit. And Stafford's one of the best in the games. He's probably going to win MVP this year, not just because of his performance against the Bucs. But other quarterbacks, they've had time to collapse the pocket, alter throws, rush throws, and they haven't been able to. Again, they have been against the lesser teams, and maybe that shows up against Arizona. But, it's not helping out the secondary either.
That's right.
Zach Jarvis, thanks for the $4.99, says, is it fair to say the Bucs have the worst defense in the NFL and our coach is supposed to be a defensive mastermind? Must be embarrassing for Bowles.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Bowles said he was embarrassed last week, and I think that's a continuing trend now for the last couple of weeks. Do they have the worst defense in the NFL? I don't know because I don't cover all of the other NFL teams, but I mean,
I don't think so. The Bengals defense is really bad.
Yeah. They're trending in that direction, though, right? They need to reverse course because they're quickly fading into that territory. And it can start on Sunday against an Arizona Cardinals team that doesn't have their starting running back, receiver, quarterback. Should start on Sunday. They have enough pieces on defense if they can get. The problem is, Matt, like what we're seeing is we saw Yaya get a sack, right? And we saw Tyke have a pass breakup. And that's it.
Yeah.
We need to see what this defense used to be with that more talented front six we were talking about during the Super Bowl year in the 2021, where two or three out of the front six show up and just have a day, right? Maybe it was, Vita Vea and Shaq and Levante made their presence felt with a bunch of plays, right? Just like last night. Yeah, Braden Fisk didn't do a whole bunch, right? Byron Young didn't have a sack, but it was Kobe Turner and it was Jared Verse. Those two guys that each had 2 sacks. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem is we need to see from this defense what we saw in New Orleans, where Antoine Winfield Jr. had a day. Anthony Nelson had a day, right? It has to be that, not just a play, but a day. And and we've seen Tyke have a day. We've seen Jacob Parrish have a day. We've seen Jamel Dean have a day, right? We've seen Jamel Dean make a scene, but it's in such isolated instances where it's like one guy. It needs to be 2 or 3, and this group has it in him. Todd Bowles has got to press the right buttons to put those guys in position to make those plays.
Yeah, despite their flaws, there's still too much talent on this team to be doing what they've been doing. So I think that's spot on. They should make a T-shirt out of that. Don't have a play, have a day, or something like that. There's something that can be done.
I'm going to
Sad Buck fan.
For the show.
Sad Buck fan. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says, with Otten struggling, will Culp get more snaps? I would love to see Devin Culp get some more snaps. Not even because of anything with Kate Otten. It's just clearly the pass game is struggling without Mike Evans, without a healthy Chris Godwin. Emeka Buka had 32 yards receiving last game. That was the high for the Bucs in that game. And I know it was a bad game for everyone. Tez Johnson, 21 receiving yards. He had the lone touchdown, which was great, but he was pretty quiet against the Bills as well. Kate Otten, 21 receiving yards. They're getting kind of like what you were talking about with not having days and just plays. They're having certain moments, but they're failing to have consistent dominating performances. I know you're not going to get that every week, but I'm sorry, Emeka Buka's cooled off since the Seahawks game. He has 1 touchdown since that Seattle game. It was against New England 2 weeks ago. But Emeka Egbuka has been the guy that he was earlier in the season. Is it his fault? No, not necessarily. He's had a hamstring injury, and he's missing Mike Evans and Chris Godwin Jr. But when you're struggling to put up a lot of points and you're struggling in the passing game, I don't know. Maybe you do look at a couple of different options. Cade Otton, he'll get targets, he'll get catches, but he's not like a big yard after the catch guy. I like the speed of Devin Culp. I wouldn't hate throwing to him in a couple of situations, but I don't know.
There's been some instances where they've thrown screens to Cade Otton, and I'm like, why? He's got zero acceleration. It's like, if you're going to throw a screen, I don't care if it's a tell. If like, oh, here comes Devin Culp, they never put him in the game. They must be doing a trick play or a gadget play or a screen play to him. Yeah, fine. Like, throw the ball to him. At least he has the chance to do something, even if the element of surprise isn't there.
It's not just the screens to Cade Otton. It's the screens to Sterling Shepard that drive me nuts. And I like Sterling Shepard. He's a very important mentor to this team and the younger wide receivers. He is your slowest wide receiver. Maybe he's a little bit faster than Ryan Miller, but he's your slowest receiver, and you're giving him the screens on 3rd and 2 and stuff like that. I just
agreed.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. Alec Bickler has now been a YouTube channel member for 5 months. Thank you for your support, Alec, who says, Bucs have scored only 1 offensive touchdown in 3 games this season. We've let up over 30 points in 4 games. Grizzly Bulls really need to prove themselves. Look at Cohen, McDaniels, Saleh. Injuries aren't an excuse to be terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, the injuries the Buccaneers have had, they've been catastrophic this year. I mean, last year we felt sorry for Liam Cohen. He didn't have Mike and Chris, but he had all of his offensive linemen, and he had the tight ends until Cade at the end of the season, and he had Baker every year, and he had Bucky every game, and Rashad every game except for one. And in that game they had Tucker, and he blew up against the Saints. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this has been the most injury-filled Buccaneer season I can remember. I think maybe there was one under John Gruden, like I want to say like 2006, maybe, that was maybe as bad as this. I've tried to forget that season because John either went 12-4 or 4-12. He either went like 11-5 or 5-11. It was like either the train's on the track and it's rolling down the railway, or it jumped the track. That's just kind of how it was with Gruden. So I don't know. I think there was another bad year. I remember that Bruce Gradkowski got some starts. Josh Johnson got some starts. So I don't know. This is a bad injury year this year, especially with Baker Mayfield last night.
Yeah, it's been pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Paul Morales, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says Bears are 8-3. Coaching matters. It absolutely does. That's a fantastic point for real.
That's a great point. And they're not exactly in a wasted division either. The Packers pretty good. Vikings hanging in there, So yeah.
Lions just came out unscathed against the Fighting Jameis Winstons and the New York Giants.
That's right.
JD Foster, thank you for the $6.99 super chat. Says I've had enough of Baker. I want him to succeed, but he's so frustrating to watch. Bad throws, misreads, turnovers, etc. If we pay him $50 million a year, we are fools.
I would love to see Josh Grizzard kind of admit a mistake a little bit and go back to what Liam Cohen was doing so well, which was getting Baker to get the ball out of his hands, complete the passes quickly. Very much like Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford got rid of the ball quickly. That's the staple of the Sean McVay offense. I'd love to see Josh say, hey, we tried to force the more explosive plays, but you know what? It was kind of working last year when Baker threw 41 touchdowns. Yeah, there were too many interceptions, but I would love to see him go back to what was working. And I think that would be the smart play for Josh Grizzard.
It's like, hey, you want to make sure Teddy Bridgewater doesn't get sacked? Yeah, get rid of the ball quickly so they can't hit him and tee off on him.
Yeah. So I think that to me is what has to happen, because we saw what Baker can be in that offense. I want to see that offense and that Baker again.
And that's the dilemma, because Baker Mayfield of last year, that's a $50 million quarterback.
Right.
Baker Mayfield currently, before his injury, even with all the comebacks, I don't know if that's a $50 million quarterback. But it's a good question.
Or what you do is you do something completely radical and you trade Baker to Jacksonville and give him to Liam
for
Cohen.
Trevor Lawrence
and first round picks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too.
We know
Yeah,
how.
Liam Cohen might go for it. Yeah, he's desperate
Yeah.
for
Yes,
talent.
he would do that deal in a heartbeat. You could probably fleece the Jaguars for that deal. I'm not saying they should do it. I'm throwing out a hypothetical there, but yeah,
Damn, that'd be wild.
I think Liam would love to have Baker Mayfield in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and we all know how the Bucs can draft quarterbacks, so why not?
It's not going to happen,
Zach,
folks.
yeah.
The Bucs love Baker too much, and that's
Zach Jarvis, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. Says, does Zion even know how bad he is playing, and what does he have to do to get better?
He's got to be more physical. Like you have to you've got to do a little bit more at the top of the route, right? The free releases, you're down there on the goal line. You got 5 yards, son. Like you can't allow a free release. And if you get the penalty, okay, that's what are you're at the 1 yard line, half the distance. I would do that all day long down there. I would grab, pull, hold, whatever. It beats giving up 6. You know, that's the thing. I think that he's too soft when he plays man. I think he just needs to have a little bit more dog in him, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's if that's not your personality, that's hard to kind of inject some dog into a dude, you know? You don't have to do that with Tyke Smith. He's a dog. And I'm not talking Georgia Bulldog. I'm talking DAWG, dog. And I just don't know if Zion has enough dog in him, but he needs it. He needs some confidence. He's got to be aggressive and go down swinging. Because right now he's guessing, he's playing safe, he's unsure of himself, he's not confident, and you can see it in his play.
I feel like sometimes his eyes are in the wrong place too. Either he's looking into the backfield too much and he's getting beat, or he's watching a certain part of the receiver. Like the Devontae Adams, he's looking at Devontae Adams. He doesn't know when the ball's coming until it's too late. Because again, Devontae Adams is a great receiver and he can locate the ball before anything else. So I think his eyes haven't been in the
watch the guy you're covering. Keep an eye on him. He'll let you know when the ball's coming. When you see the hands go up and the eyes get real big, that means the ball's coming. Then you make a play on that.
Drillman 32, thank you for the $5 super chat, says QB 3, wide receiver 3, guards 1, defensive tackle 1, edge 2, corners. Injuries suck. Our biggest issues. Expectations have to change when they're all starters and contributors. But you got to game plan it different too.
Yeah.
You can't just go in and say, like, oh, well, we don't have 3 of our best players. That's it. Thanks for coming out. Like, no, you got to game plan and try different stuff. And it hasn't worked.
As
Granted,
a coach,
again, really tough opponents.
As a coach, you're paid to win games. There's no asterisk there. You know, I'm paid to win games with good players. No, you're paid to win games. I'm paid to win games with a healthy roster. Nope. That asterisk is not there. You are paid to win games. Figure it out. Get the job.
James Freshett, thank you for the $5 super chat, says the number one red flag starting the season was the lack of talented line depth. Bredesen and Mauk, Cansey, Reddick, subs getting ragdolled consistently. I don't know. I mean, the Bucs tried as much as they could, especially on the offensive side, to get as much depth as possible. It's hard to get good O-line depth because if you're a good offensive lineman, you're starting. So they did as much as they could on the offensive line. I don't know. The D-line, if you want to talk pass rush, maybe they don't have the type of pass rushing defensive lineman.
Right.
But I don't know. They have enough there, even with Logan Hall, but with Elijah Roberts, obviously Vita Vea, CJ Brewer's been in the mix, Elijah Simmons as well. Like, I think if you take out the 2 big runs by Travion Henderson, the Bucs have done a relatively good job of stopping the run.
I agree.
And they haven't been able to generate pressure anywhere, whether it's linebackers, edge rushers, or interior.
Yep,
so
I agree. I'm more concerned about the pass rush up front than I am stopping the run. There have been a couple of breakaway runs where it's misfit and missed tackle and all that type of stuff. But, I mean, it's not been a consistent, problem. Like Kyron Williams, he didn't kill the Bucs last night. And they knew that, they were trying to run him in the second half, and the Rams couldn't really get him going.
Marcos Blanco, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. He says, J-Mac getting healthy and seeing Teddy as QB1 with a couple of emojis.
My gosh, you guys. Oh, wow.
I get people are mad at Teddy Bridgewater for that, excuse me, but I don't know. It was one poor throw. It's
I
time to
agree.
get over it. He
Yeah.
wasn't purposely trying to get
Exactly.
Jalen McMillan injured.
At the same time, I don't know that J-Mac, if Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback when J-Mac takes the field, I don't know. It might be a thing where J-Mac just let that sail over his head, and he's just like, that's an incompletion. Not going to go up and get that one.
David Weber, thank you for the $1.99, says Bucs give up so many 3rd and longs under Bulls. Yeah, it's freaking egregious. I still have the Patriots one stuck in my head on that 3rd and
Like you
14.
said
Which
last night, the 3rd and 18 last night.
yeah,
'Cause
that was
Zion.
just as bad.
Yeah.
That was even worse because 1, it was a couple extra yards,
Yeah.
and 2, they scored. If you remember
Right.
in the Patriots game, they got that 3rd and 14, but then Tyke Smith had the interception, so technically it didn't hurt them. But
Correct.
They shouldn't be in that situation in the first place, I think really is the
Mhm.
moral of the story.
I agree.
C-Rod, thanks for the $10 super chat.
Thank you.
C-Rod here, because I know Bulls still won't take us to the Super Bowl this year or next year, even if we win the next 3 games. I hope they lose the next 3 games if it means the Glazers will cut him loose. Sorry.
I understand there's some fans out there that root against the team because they want to take the step back to take 2 steps forward. I understand that psyche and psychology. Back when I played Madden before my fingers got all arthritic, I would simulate a season and try to lose as many games as possible so I could get a better draft pick, right? I could get like a top 5 draft pick. I would trade away all of the good players, I'd just go fire sale and then crap the bed for the season and then have all these draft picks and then draft all the players and I would rebuild the team like lickety split. I understand that mindset, but that's not the mindset that Todd Bowles or Jason Light or any Buccaneer player is subscribing to. They don't want to lose games, period. All other jobs are on the line. They want to win games. And Todd Bowles is not wrong when he says everything is still in front of them. If they win out, if they win all but 1 game, if they win all but 2 games, depending on whether if they split with the Panthers, they're okay. If they get swept by the Panthers, it might come down to tiebreakers, etc. But they still can win the division. And then let's play some fantasy football for a second. If Baker Mayfield is healthy, if J-Mac and Mike are healthy, and Ben Bredesen's healthy, and Hassan Reddick is healthy, and Kalijah Cansey's healthy, and Chris Godwin gets better, and you have Mike and all that. Who knows if we have to wait all season to get the full strength minus Cody Malk Buccaneers, and then what this team will do, right? They'll have a home game. We saw an Eagles team with a better record come into Ray J and lose because they were starting to lose some momentum at the beginning or the end of the season. The Buccaneers went to the Lions. That game was, I think, tied right in the 4th quarter. Who knows? Who knows what can happen? Any given Sunday, of course, it would be a night game for the Buccaneers in the playoffs. Another primetime game.
Very likely.
This team doesn't do well primetime games, apparently. But yeah.
By the way, before we continue with the super chats, we got to give a shout out to all of our Pewter Platinum members. So thank you very much to Scott Federico, Scotty J, Rachel Gordon, Noah Parr, Dave Anderson, Eric McMillan, Hezo813, Ash Fishpool, Joel Elrican, Sam, John Dale Morris, Zach Brannigan, RP89, Kevin Thomas, Mario Thomas, Leighton Carter, Brandon Riley, The Guy is Gifted, Alec Bickler, Nick Dubuque, Dominic Tarantino, HK Bucks, The Real Maverick, Brayon Pinkney, Brian Shucker, Black Gold 1999, Steven Zool, King James 813, Fear the Crew, Henry Gigante, Robert Mackin, Todd Pittner, and Giles Dowden. Thank you all so much for your support at PewterReport.com and PewterReportTV for being a Pewter Platinum member.
Yep, definitely appreciate it.
Moving on with these super chats. Thank you to Mike Wells for this $4.99 super chat. Says, based on how the season is playing out, what do you guys think will be done with Mike and Levante in the offseason?
I think Mike can help this team more than Levante next year. Levante will be 36. He's not going to be a better player next year. And I don't know that Mike will be either, but Mike will be 30. I think Mike's 32 now. He'll be 33 next year. And Matt, you and I were out there at training camp. I mean, Mike was having the best training camp
He was
I've ever
balling.
seen. He was balling.
Yeah.
Didn't have a great start to the season because I think of all the coverage that was rolling his way, and that's why Emeka Egbuka was benefiting from that for the first
Was
couple weeks of
great,
the
yeah.
season. Yeah. I don't know that Mike wants to go out like this. I don't think this is the last season Mike wants to put out there on his football card. I think he would come back on a 1-year deal. I'm anticipating that. And, with Mike, it's always how he feels physically at the end of the year. And I'll
Yeah.
just say this, aside from the broken collarbone, and it kind of sounds crazy saying that, but that's surgically repaired. His legs are fresh. There's been a couple seasons. Remember, after his contract year, we asked him after the press conference, like, how you feel? Like, I feel great. This is like the healthiest I've been. My legs feel great. I feel really good. If he's feeling good, I think he comes back for another year. So I can see Mike Evans coming back for one more season. I don't know about Levante David. And he's the best inside linebacker they have, but he's not the guy he used to be. And I say that with all the respect in the world because I saw the same thing from a 35-year-old Derek Brooks in 2008. Father Time's undefeated, and he comes for everybody. And I'll leave it at that.
As it goes for Levante, like if for whatever reason Todd Bowles isn't back, I think that's even more of a reason why Levante David wouldn't return, just knowing their relationship and how important Bowles is. I kind of feel like it's done for with Levante, that he's going to retire after the season. Yeah. Mike, I have always felt, and this was under the gumption that he was going to get 1,000 yards, but I still feel this way. Mike is number 13.
I'm with
Very
you.
important number to him. This is his 12th season. I could see him signing up for one more year, playing 13 seasons, and then on all of his Hall of Fame numbers and all that stuff, it says 13 seasons. So I'll stick with it.
Yeah, especially since he has 13 in his logo, the Mike logo.
Yes.
The 1 for the I, the 3 for the E. So, yeah, I'm with you.
It just makes total sense.
Totally
it makes perfect sense.
It would almost be wrong if he didn't, right? If he said, I'm done at 12, you're like, wait a minute, you're 13, you're not 12. Come on, one more year. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a good convincing point for Jason Light. Realtor David Zussman, thank you for the $9.99 super chat, says, I am very disappointed at Bowles for not holding players' hands and jumping with them to break passes. Light drafts wonderful rushers, elite cornerbacks, and middle linebackers. I don't understand why the defense is bad.
I love the sarcasm, David.
Yeah, I love
it. I'm gonna give you this comment too. He says, I can't forgive Todd Bowles for not adjusting the defensive scheme last night to Zion, surrounded by 2 safeties acting as bodyguards. Bowles is not doing his job.
Hey, funny comments are funny comments. So.
That's right, yeah. And sometimes you gotta laugh, otherwise you're gonna cry. So yeah, I totally get it. I want to get to this too from Cuse 44, who says, is Tuck's contract up after this year? Yes, actually it is. He is a restricted free agent. So he is in a contract year. The Buccaneers can tender him an offer, but it's going to be a little costly because he was an undrafted free agent. So that means it's more of a premium type of an offer. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but it's a couple $1 million. So there will be a significant investment in Sean Tucker, and I think that you got to keep him. He's the most explosive back you have on your team. He's getting better every year. I would definitely approve of keeping Sean Tucker on at least a 1-year tender, and then see how he does, see what his role is in 2026. You may or may not have Rachaad White, depending on how he fares in free agency. So, we shall see when it comes to that. One thing I do know is that if you need a contract extension, you need to have an attorney. Well, if you get hurt, you also need to have an attorney too, to make justice happen for you. And the folks that we recommend, of course, are the folks over at Jorgensen Law PA.
Welcome to Jorgensen Law PA, where our family's legacy drives us to fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury, workers' compensation, and Social Security, we're committed to winning for you. No fees unless we succeed. Trust in our family to help yours. Let's achieve justice together.
Great family of attorneys over there, big-time Tampa Bay fans and Pewter Report fans as well. They are the champions of the injured and disabled, so if you need legal representation in the areas of personal injury or workers' comp or Social Security, give the folks over at Jorgensen Law office a call. It's a free case evaluation, and there's no fees until they win. You can't beat that, folks. 727-347-7733. That's 727-347-7733, or visit them on the web at jorgensenlawoffice.com. Matt, we've had a great day today in terms of super chats, and we greatly appreciate that. We appreciate everybody for tuning into the show, especially our Pewter Report TV channel members. You guys show up on the regular, and we greatly appreciate it. We're thankful for you in this week of Thanksgiving. And if you are in the giving mood around Thanksgiving and you want to give us some support, you're welcome to do that. We would welcome you joining the legions of Bucs fans who are Pewter Report TV channel members. Each membership level comes at a different investment for your fandom: $3.99, $6.99, $9.99, or $24.99. The Pewter Premier and Platinum members get some extra perks, including a bonus Pewter Report podcast we call the Pewter Insider. We're not doing it this Friday because it's Black Friday and there's going to be football and shopping, and we're probably going to be in a turkey coma, Matt, aren't we? I think from Thursday.
Yeah,
we're not doing it this Friday, but we do it in just about every other Friday that there is. And this is a bonus podcast. So if you're a huge Pewter Report podcast fan, I highly encourage you to become a Pewter Premier or Platinum member and join the masses there and get access to that extra podcast. It's not a filler podcast. I think Matt and I were on a roll. I think
we are.
A lot of these Pewter Insiders, sometimes they're better than our Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday podcasts, if I have to say. And I think we do a great job every show. At least we try to. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for getting our numbers up to we're almost at 22,000 subscribers, thanks to you. So at the very least, if you can, just hit the subscribe button on Pewter Report TV. That helps us increase our numbers, increase our reach out there for Buccaneer fans, and tell your family and friends that are Bucs fans about our podcast. We do the Pewter pregame show. We do the Pewter game day show. Matt does his Pewter picks and props. I've got Bucs Brightside coming tomorrow. It will be very brief. And Pewter Pulse videos as well. Adam's top 10 takeaways, a ton of great video content. And we mentioned the podcast on Wednesday. That's today. Sorry. We've already answered that question. We're not sure. We'll find out on Sunday if they can win without Baker Mayfield. But we're going to get to the Cardinals preview. Cardinals and Bucs preview on Wednesday's show at 4 o'clock here live on Pewter Report TV. And then, of course, on Sunday, Pewter pregame at 9 o'clock before I take off to the stadium. And then that'll be a couple hours afterwards. We'll have Pewter game day at kickoff with Matt Matera and Daniel Morales. It's going to be a fun week of Buccaneer football. We think, we hope, we pray, because we would all be thankful for a win, wouldn't we, Matt, on Sunday?
We would all be so thankful and grateful. We'd also be thankful and grateful if you are not already doing so. If you could please follow us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We are at Pewter Report. And our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment how you feel on this video about what's going on with Baker Mayfield, Todd Bowles, Josh Grizzard, and Teddy Bridgewater. If this team can find ways to win with Teddy Two Gloves as the starting quarterback. So no show tomorrow. We will be back on for Wednesday with more info about what's going on with this team and who's going to be starting at quarterback for the Bucs when they play on Sunday. So that's it for today's show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you on Wednesday for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.